It is January 24th. This is the weekly tap in, and I'm tapping in. What is really good, family? What's really good? It is that time of the week. Need you to go ahead and rep where you're from. Those who are listening on the podcast or on the replay, make sure you guys leave us a review on iTunes. Go ahead and send us a comment and make sure you hit the notifications on YouTube. Subscribe as well, man. We need the subscribers. We need the love and support. We try to bring you guys the greatest and latest every week, along with a book suggestion to enlighten you, enhance your, um, I would say, your direction in terms of your dream. Now, what I don't do is give advice. I only talk about my experiences and see how you can relate to them. Um, Advice is subjective, right? No one ever talks about how lucky they are or how it just landed in their lap. No one ever discusses that. So I leave that. But what I will say is today is a really important episode. This is season 3, episode 4, man. So we've been putting it down. Hello there, Tanisha. So we've been putting it down, man. We've been trying to stay consistent every week in spite of no matter what. And the importance of that is showing you the importance of consistency, staying at something, seeing what it does, seeing it all the way through, right? Because it's really important because there'll be days that we're discouraged. And there's days that we're discouraged on the things that we habitually do. But it's important for us to stay on that path no matter what. No matter what. So today we're talking about updating yourself. How to keep yourself up to date. What's going on, Sammy? Shout out to the ATL. Shout out to the Hot Desert, Tanisha. Appreciate you guys talking about that, keeping ourselves up to date. So we're gonna talk about a lot of that stuff. Up to what I've been doing, just to let you guys know. Still been at the burger place. I made a bunch of milkshakes last night. A lot of different things, man. I'm learning about cash register. I pretty much have down. So these things are levels to this. So I'm excited about that. Just wanted to give you guys a real update on that. Still, if you're ever in the area, come check out On My Burger. We'll also be cooking as well. So if you're in the LA area around Super Bowl, check out Cheryl's Famous Fried Chicken because we will be somewhere in the South Bay. But yeah, upgrading yourself, keeping yourself up to date, more importantly. And when you think about like a computer, right, and how it works, or even a gaming system, right? Think about if we didn't update our gaming system from, say, for instance, Sega Genesis. During that time when we was, what's going on, John? South Central LA in the building. Um, just think if we didn't do it at that time, right? And we still playing Sega Genesis. We're still playing like during that time, those graphics were crazy, right? They were state of the art at that time. At that time is the key word. State of the art. They was what's going on, CJ from the nap, my dude, crypto. Um, you think about that. We thought that that was it until something came better, right? Until they updated it, until they made some advances in innovation, right? And when we look at ourselves, right, we're the best computer God has ever created. But how many of us have keeping ourselves up to date? How many of us have accepted the update or we just ignored it? We pushed it off. You know how we do on our computer? All right, you got some updates required. We got some patches we need to fix. You're like, nah, snooze it for another, nah. And then we wonder why our computer is just out of whack, and eventually it just stops working. Like, hey, dude, you gonna do this motherfucking update, or we're not moving anymore. Or a vehicle, right? Tune up. Let your vehicle go for 10, 20 months without touching anything. It'll roll for a minute. It'll seem like there's no problem, but one day it's gonna be like, hey, homie, I'm done. I ain't had no oil in a month, you know, and we have to keep ourselves maintained. And that includes accepting updates. See, our program has been designed before we were born, right? To the people whoever we were born to and their programming. So a lot of our programming wasn't because of what we wanted to do, it was because of the situations that we grew up in. So whether it's a optimistic standpoint or a pessimistic, that was our program, whether we liked it or not. We already had our floppy disk. We already had our program. We didn't have the chance to change it, right? We kind of like if we're still using the computer analogy, it's kind of like the Windows. You came with Windows, whatever. You already had that in you, right? So whether it was a dope system or not, that's what your computer came with. Now you need to realize that you have the ability to open your shit up and add memory, take out memory, make it faster. You can rewrite the entire thing, right? But we have to recognize our bad program and realize that what we need to remove. Our bad programming talked to us about how we looked at money, right? I came from a scarcity. So we looked at money different. We didn't look at it as a means. It was, it wasn't abundant. We weren't broke, but it wasn't, we didn't look at money the right way, right? And I imagine a lot of us didn't grow up the same way either. You got to go around other people like, damn, you guys look at life different. Why do we buy the generic version? I thought about that the other day. I said, why are we programmed to buy cheaper and not better? Think about that. You see other races, they buy the best. They don't buy the water that's on sale. They buy the one that they want. You think about that. This is the one I want. This is the one I'm getting. Why? Because I think highly of myself. And I started to think about that. I said, is that have an effect on me? That I naturally gravitate towards the lower version to see if it's cheaper? Where did I get this damn programming from? And you think about that. You know what I'm saying? Where did I get this programming where I automatically default to not the best for me? Let me see if I can get it cheaper. Let me see if I can. They got a cheaper version. Why are you doing yourself like that? What type of programming did we have that we weren't important? Is that what message that we was programmed with? Was that in our windows? You're not important. Don't buy the best because you don't deserve the best. Think about that. Where do we get that from? Right? Where did that come from? That's pre-programming. And that comes from a lot of times, and I'll kick a little history. A lot of times that comes from our grandparents who were survivors of what? The Depression. So saving, stable job, go get you a job at the post office type shit, military. This is stuff because of whatever they were dealing with at that time. That was their programming. Their programs were meant to help them survive. So buying the cheaper, right, will make it laster. Why you think we eat the worst of the? Because that was the cheapest. The chicken backs, gizzards. That's why my grandparents say that. That's why I was always a thing of gizzards at my grandparents' house. Because my grandfather grew up on that, which meant they was around that time. So I eat gizzards. This is my programming. So a lot of things were cool, right, in terms of survival, but a lot of things we damn sure shouldn't carry with us. And one of them is how we think about ourselves, right? Because and I know on my day, it was be quiet and go in your room. It wasn't, we wanted to hear what you had to think. It wasn't none of that. So you didn't think highly of yourself when you think about it. You didn't think that highly. That's why we went to the streets. We went to the streets to get that verification. I knew I was the shit. They wouldn't tell me in the house. You know what I'm saying? So you go to the streets you go wherever to get that confirmation and love. That's where homies is going. They going where the love at. Now we've talked about that in the past. So a lot of that programming, man. What's up, Kenneth? What's up, Coast? I see you, homeboy. You feel me? So that's one of that's these. We come from, especially those coming from the streets, homie. You feel what I'm saying? Those that come from the streets. We were all looking for love. And a lot of that and it wasn't our parents or our grandparents' fault. It's just the way it was, homie. So we have to program that we deserve that love. We deserve the best. Quit shortchanging yourself because someone programmed you to think that you didn't deserve more. You don't deserve it. We don't do that. What you mean we? We ain't we ain't in this. You know what I'm saying? Will Smith said that in his book, and I've told you guys about that one. Where he said, man, when people tell you what they think you should do, that's based on what they think you should do. You feel what I'm saying? Not necessarily the best thing to do. It's what they think you should do or what their limitations are. And they can cast those on to you. Limitation. Oh man, we don't go, man, buying all the generic chips, man, buy some Lays. See what the difference is. Oh, I see. You know what I'm saying? You got to do that. What else were we programmed with? Limitations of business. Let's go get a job. Go do this. I'm not just going to do anything. I got one life to live. Why would I just go do anything? You feel what I'm saying? That for what? I got one life. I don't have one and a half. What else were we programmed with? That we had to go do what the homies did. That was one of the worst programs that we ever bought into. You got to go do this. You got to go to the pen. You got to get tattoos. You got to go do this. Man, we bought into all that. It was all wrong. It was all wrong, homie. And granted, we made some lifelong friends from the game. I love that part of it, right? The camaraderie. I met some solid individuals that I would have probably been friends with outside the game if we was nerds together, whatever. And that's the beauty in that part. You know what I'm saying? But we were misled, man. We had some messed up program, right? Trying to fit in, yeah. Let me look like the other homie. Okay, he got a little baby cuff over his whoop. I'm gonna do mine the same way. Or the big homie such and such, he wears chain like this and got his perm like this. Because when I grew up, it was cats with perms. All my quote unquote big homies had perms, rollers, and will all look like He-Man. I promise you. These fools were, because they were still at that time, there was still weights in the pen. So them fools were on unbelievable huff. Big giant dudes, knockout artists. You know what I'm saying? But was that who I should have been programmed? Like they was misled too. And a lot of times things get passed down over and over and over again because no one stopped it. No one stopped the bleeding. Nobody stopped it. Nobody said, you know what? Let me put a Band-Aid on this shit, man. This is getting crazy. Homies is programming homies to do this and they're making this a normal part of everyday life. When it's not. Shit ain't normal, homie. You know what I'm saying? We bought into it, but it's not normal. We need to be okay with saying, you know what? I'm not doing that. Reading. Man, school ain't for me. When did that program get accepted? School isn't for you. When did you accept that program? Who slid it to you? How did they get it in? Who did that? Because that's a disservice to you to say school ain't for you. Well, we don't go to school. We use our hands. That may have been what that cat could do. That doesn't mean that's what you gonna do. That doesn't mean that's what your capabilities are. That doesn't mean that's what your limitations are. You have things that God put inside your head. You may be the first and the last in your family. Doesn't matter though. As long as somebody tried. I was sitting there watching a food factory thing, and it was a pizza place that made frozen pizzas. And it's a cousin and his girl cousin and a male cousin that's running the whole show. And you know how it got started? The grandparents opened up a pizza tavern in a Polish part, and they was selling pizza slices. And it turned into a supermarket production. Start some shit, man. You don't know where your legacy is gonna lead. So you gotta be the one in charge of the programming now. You gotta set the program to say that, man, we're entrepreneurs, homie. We start businesses. We try. Like catering. Like I heard another one. There was another restaurant in Long Beach. The grandma, or I think it was the grandma, started catering. The granddaughter finally got a brick and mortar restaurant. But she started it. Somebody got to light the spark it. Who's sparking it? Who's gonna get it popping, right? Who's gonna have the cojones to say, you know what, I'm about to go try something on the legacy of my family, right? We willing to sit up there and damn near kill somebody over some dudes that can barely read, but we ain't willing to go put our real shit on the line for our family legacy, for stuff that can continue up until the 2000 whatevers. Who's willing to do that? Somebody has to have the balls to do it. Somebody has to say, you know what, man, it's that time. Now, I don't care if it happens in my time. Let me get the fire lit. Hopefully, I leave enough oxygen for them to keep popping. What's going on, AD? H-Town in the building. So who's going to be that one to get that fire lit? Who's going to be the one that goes and sets up the business plan? I don't care. You can have that. Doesn't matter. Somebody got to get it started. Don't be sitting there waiting, right? There is no perfect time, ever. There's not going to be enough money, ever. There's not going to be enough resources, ever. But this is where you connect with God, because that's where faith overcomes all that. It overcomes all that. Faith will catch. I'm worried about this, man. Get to praying, get to asking God, get to expecting, get to knowing it's coming, get to preparing accordingly. You ain't ready to receive. You can't have. You got your hands full with a bunch of nonsense. How can you receive the bomb? How can you receive the good? I got my hands full with a bunch of nonsense. I got nonsense stuff with man. Get your Marie Kondo on, homie. Those who don't know who Marie Kondo is, look her up. Spark joy. Get rid of things that don't add to your life. Reprogram yourself. You have to take updates, especially when God's sending them to you. We can't reject and Heisman or updates, dog. He's telling you something, sliding you resources, whether it's going to read, whether it's going to an event, whether it's tuning into this podcast. He's sending you stuff. And it's up to you to accept the updates. You have to. Now, that's where I'm saying, I ain't saying what kind of information to take, but you know when your updates are coming and you know when you're rejecting them, right? Your updates can include the gym. You know you need to go work out. I was talking to my wife about that actually earlier today. And I said, people look at this as if it's something that you have to do for the year. This should be tied. It's just like PE. You ain't skipping PE class. There's a reason why they had you going to PE every week, every day. So you can stay physically on top of your game. Go there too. Find something that you enjoy. You know what I'm saying? You got to find something that you enjoy. Put my mom up on pickleball. Just saw one of the homies that on here, John, was roller skating last night. Change your program. Switch it up. Try new things. You don't know who you're going to meet and who God's going to send at that time that you're accepting. Because there's certain times that we're accepting and we're willing to try new things. And there's certain times where we just straight up cowards, where we don't want to go anywhere. We don't want to move. We're more worried about what could potentially happen, what the failure smells like, what it looks like. I'll tell you what it looks like. Go find the most successful person you see in the world. Ask them about failure. It's a common thing, right? Don't be afraid to do that. Step out there. Try it. You'll be shocked at how good you are. That's the crazy part about it. And in this internet world, you can figure out anything you need to, right? Cheesecake Factory. I think they started selling cheesecakes out their house or something like that, out the garage. Somebody said that on this book that I got. I'll share the book with you guys in a minute. But yeah, we're trying chicken. About to fry this joint. Why not? And I saw a lady came in to the restaurant the other day and she was like, I just need somebody to push me. I knew that was God talking to me then. I said, well, what kind of restaurant? Because she thought I was the owner. I was like, no, I'm not the owner. The owners are such and such. She's like, yeah, I got a spot right there on such and such. And I'm really trying to, you know what I'm saying? But I need somebody to push me. Said, I got everything in place. I'm going to do cornbread. She sounds just like what we doing. I'm going to do just chicken, I got everything, the hood in place, a whole nine. I just need somebody to push me. That's crazy. Because a lot of times people will have the drive, but they won't have the resources. She has the resources, but she can't get over the hump. She's almost there. She's this close to being there. That's the crazy part about it. She is super close, but she don't believe all the way. Sometimes you got to do it. And you got to be willing to say, you know what? Even if all else fails, if I break myself, this all just falls to pieces, I'll try it again. It ain't going to kill me because I'm not going to let it. I'm understanding that this is part of the process. In order to be successful, you have to fail. In order to get swole in the gym, you have to fail. Period. There's no glory in the light weights. There's no glory in the easy stuff. That's not, that doesn't add character to you. We have to change that frame of mind, right? Go outside the city, move outside the city. I know a lot of cats are still in San Diego right now. Never left. I know cats that's in LA has never left and been to the beach. I'm like, that's crazy. You're programmed so much that where you won't leave your own neighborhood. And it's Hollywood and Griffith Park and Observatory, all this stuff that's people are traveling from Greece to come to. You won't go up the street because you're programmed. It's crazy. When we go to the pen, we have to program ourselves in order to stay sucker free, in order for the time to go by so that we're not stressing and losing our mind in there. And I think going inside that place taught us a whole lot of discipline, right? Mental discipline. Get up every day, get your routine. Times go by just like that when you're on a routine. Weeks fly by. But you don't realize that until you have to do it yourself. You have to, I used to run every day. Me and this cat named Country. I saw Country in Inglewood too, dark skinned cat. Me and Country used to run every day. He inspired me, and I used to run 4 or 5 miles every single day. And that kept me straight because I listened to my music. I look forward to it every day. And why can't we do that now? Why can't we do that with books? I'm reading a book. I committed to 2 books a month. I've been doing that for the last few years. And every time that I set a goal for myself, I exceeded. We talked about that a few episodes ago, the importance of writing it down, right? Committing to the universe, signing your contract with the universe. Most of our programming says, man, that foo-foo shit don't work, D. It's all on me. Real cats know what time it is. You ever been blessed by God or touched by the enemy, you know the difference. That ain't hard to figure out at all. Real talk. So it's best to ask for more. Program your mind to say, I'm worth more than that. I hold myself to a higher standard. We're not settling in this lifetime. We're not going to settle in this lifetime and say, you know what, I'm going to turn it up next lifetime. We don't have those options. We have to train our minds, right? In the same way we program our minds and in order to pen, and when we in the pen, in order to make that time go by and progress, because our goal at that time is just to get up out of them walls. Same thing applies in real life. Why can't we do that? Work on a little bit every day. I've been doing Khan Academy, man. I'm damn near finished with geometry. Now, I know it sounds basic. I'm a damn college professor, but geometry is something that I didn't do. If I did, I don't remember it. And it's something that's something that can be a potential obstacle for me. So I'm programming my mind whenever I'm sitting there and I pop my phone out, rather than play pool, let me put on Khan Academy. Let me work some more Pythagorean theorem. Let me look at some 3D dimensions, right? Some things that have value. And I had to program myself. Complaining. We're programmed to complain, aren't we? We get into that spot to where, oh man, it sounds good to bitch and moan about things. I've programmed myself to where I don't complain. There's a book called A Complaint-Free World. You order it online, I think they send you this band. Looks like that thing that Lance Armstrong used to have us wearing, that yellow band. And whenever it's a 21-day challenge. And you have to, if you find yourself complaining, you have to move it to the other side and it starts over again. But the significance and the importance of that purple band is to let you know when you're complaining. More importantly, to focus on how to be grateful. right? And then you don't hear me I would complain for what? What's the point of complaining? We either gonna do something about it or we're not. It's really that simple. No reason to talk about it. If we're talking about it means we don't want to do one or the two. We don't so no. So I've learned that you can program yourself with habits. Power of habits. There's other books out there that can help you develop because the whole goal is to change our frame of mind. Change our frame of mind. And we have to realize that we're impacted by not only who we've grown up with or what we've been programmed with from the jump, but who we surround ourselves with on a consistent basis. I found out about the Tesla. I told you all about the Tesla quad because of the people that I follow. I've stepped outside my norm. I'm not just following Jay-Z and Beyonce or whoever. I'm following some tech nerds who do cool shit too, right? Who will put you up on stuff. So it's important for us to change our frame of mind and think that we're all going to get everything from people that look like us. A lot of times we're going to get things from other people and we bring back to the house, right? That talented 10 stuff I talk about with W.B. Du Bois. You go learn and come back to the neighborhood and lace everybody in the neighborhood. That's king shit. Most peasants have no idea what I'm talking about. They like, why would you come back and give game? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you go get it for free and come back and sell it? That's what peasants do. I'm just telling you. And most people wouldn't understand that. You know what I'm saying? And understand that you've obtained it for free, but you're going to go put a price tag on it. Sounds like you owe God some bread. So I give it away. Why wouldn't I? God keeps giving me more of it. I'm never without game. I could see if I was without game, right? Then I start selling like, man, I ain't gonna get any more, man. This is my last little bottle of game. I I don't have any more, man. I'm gonna start issuing this out by drops, right? Yeah, okay. Well, as far as I know, like I told you, plug I got, he got garages and trailers and everything full of game. It don't stop. I was like, dude, do you have enough? He's like, man, what do you need? How much of it? When do you want it? Da 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 da. Da. So I'll just give it out freely. The more I get, the more you get. That's the exchange I have with God. Period. The more I get, the more you. And I had to program myself to move away from that, thinking from a peasant mentality. I had to charge for this. Oh, Wooty. Well, I know the homie, man. Shout out to the homie Wrong. He training cats for a bottle of alcohol just for the gesture. Just tip me with a, and he putting cats in a career position. And cats won't even do that for him. So it's crazy. Just you know what I mean? It's just it's crazy how people think. You know, and that stems from how they were raised. So a lot of times I don't even hold people at fault anymore because that's your program. I'm just asking you, man, to go to Best Buy and buy the update. There's a better version of you, homie. There really is. You probably don't know it because you don't know that they fixed those patches that you still, you know, have really showing. They've updated that, man. There's no more bugs in your system. You still walking around with unnecessary bugs, right? You still walking around with unnecessary hate, as AD just called it. That's program, right? If you come from haters, if like if you've been raised around haters, you start thinking that shit is normal. You start thinking looking down on cats for winning is a normal process. If you've been raised around haters, because that's all you know. You've been raised around players, you know that game, recognize game, go where the money is, you'll fit right in. You can compete with the best of them. That's what I'm spitting out. That's what I'm spewing to my kids. You can compete with the best of them, homie. Don't buy that, buy this. Why are you going that? Why are you going down? Go up. You don't think that highly of yourself? And this is what I'm instilling in my children. You're supposed to think highly of yourself. You're supposed to think you can win. You're supposed to think you have the advantage. You're supposed to think, yeah, you look good. Period. The little Apple commercial with the little dude on the bike, right? That's dope. That's fantastic because I look good today. I look real good today, right? And you look good, you feel good. Deion Sanders always talked about that. Look good, you feel good, you're gonna play good. Real talk. And that's why it's so important to keep yourself up to date. You can see outdated cats. I see cats coming home from the pen, still stuck in 70s. Froze, all that. Like, I mean, you just skipped all that, man. You didn't see them come in with the phones, dog? Nah. I was I was still doing some other stuff. And I ain't laughing at the homies because that's some bullshit. You've been locked up that long, but depending on what you did, I'm just saying though. And you look at them cats, you like, man, you ain't updated yourself in a minute. Or a cat who's still pushing the old school Benz, the diesel. Like they made like the new ones is sticking. He's still working that. I'm still gonna I'm still gonna work this. Man, it's or like cats with classic cars. I love classic cars, right? But I love Bluetooth. They made updated versions, right? There's a reason why updates exist because there's better versions. There's a better version of you, homie. Check your updates. Please check your updates. There is a better version of you. You just haven't realized you ain't added that book. You haven't went to that seminar. You ain't talked to that person. You ain't got mentored by that person. Because the natural essence of you mixed with a couple other elements might be that recipe for success. I promise you. That might be that recipe for success. So you got to go mix and mingle and figure out what your combination is, right? Where you thrive at. You may not know what the best you is. You may think you're living your best life. You may think you in your best position until you go somewhere else and see like, oh wow, I can do this. All I needed to do was rid myself of what I was currently feeling. And a lot of that stems from what your current surroundings are, how you've been raised, who you've been raised around. We've been childhood friends since whoopty wham, and you ain't doing shit. That's gonna make me feel some type of way if I'm looking at it every day. But if I bounce away from it, I don't see it that often. I'm my own individual. I don't tie myself to a neighborhood, a city, a crew of people, none of that. I'm this individual that runs with the universe. I'm like a star. I just keep bouncing all over the damn galaxy. Period. And that's kind of how we need to be in order to really, really, I think, utilize who we are supposed to be in life. We're not supposed to be stagnant. We're supposed to be flowing like rivers and oceans, not ponds, right? We're not in that position. I know for me 100. That's why I'm out here with the big dog. I have to be. If I consider myself a big dog, but if I'm thinking peasant, I'm thinking small minded, I'm gonna stick around them because I can be the biggest peasant of them all, which doesn't mean anything, but I'm still ahead of everybody else, these other peasants. But we still all have the same programming. I saw that with certain cities, and you small, everybody does this, everybody does that, and then everybody follows suit. It's kind of a follow the leader type mentality. And it's whoever's got the best idea, that's what we all rolling with. I went out this way. A few cats came, you know what I'm saying? From when hey, talk to me, AD. The earth is our turf. We wrong. Universe is our friend. Universe guides us. God gives us the resources. It doesn't stop. This is a constant deal. And other people may say it in different ways, but when it boils down to, like I said, I don't have a gimmick. I don't have a slick flow. I don't have none of that. I just give you guys what God gives me, and I just pass it on. And what he told me today was, man, these cats ain't getting their updates. He said, man, I got them all set up, lined up. All they got to do is receive it, man. These cats is turning their shits off, turning their systems off. They denying it. They're not even reading what I'm putting out there and telling them. Yeah, how we know we good something. That's the thing. You don't know what you good at. Like I'm killing in surfing. I'm a beast. A lot of cats like, damn, you damn near got a pipe. I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have known that I was a good lecturer. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have known that I was good at that had I not tried. You have to try. I tell my son that all the time, man, try. I don't care. Dude, effort is everything. Try. I don't know if I'm going to be good at running a restaurant. I have no freaking idea. I don't know, but I'm trying. Tour business, kilted, summer down. Got good at that. Know that. Satisfied customers, 5-star reviews. Who would have known I would have been good at being a tour operator? Tried it though. Hair, 5 star. We got 4.5 star reviews. Who would have known been good at that? Not just saying. My consulting business didn't take off. Did not work at all. Failed tremendously. Got like 2 calls and it was all BS. Yeah, I'm talking about it. I don't talk about it often because I don't dwell on that stuff. But yeah, I failed a lot. Bought the wrong D's, bought some other bucket rims, made some bad decisions, done a lot of things. Mistakes are inevitable. But the older I get and the older I am, the more comfortable I am with making them and realizing that's part of the process. But it's our programming that tells us otherwise. It's our programming that tells us failure is fatal. If you fail, you're going to die. Don't fail. Don't try. Please don't even. And that's our monkey ass brain telling us. Don't even try, dog. You're going to fail and it's going to be bad. Man, you don't shut your monkey ass up. And that's the attitude you have to have with that monkey lizard brain. Because that's what it's telling you. Don't try at all, homie. The best way we can secure this streak we're on of no losses and no victories, by the way, is not do shit. Let's not do anything, dog. Let's keep it the same. Let's justify why we're keeping it the same. Let's get some other people to support it so we have supporting evidence on why we should stay the same. And let's just keep it all the same. How dare we want to change? Why would we want to change? That shit is uncomfortable. We may even lose our friends. And those are the people that justify our bullshit for us, right? Those friends who don't make us stretch, who don't make us better. Those friends, man, those family members who keep us in check by telling us what we can't do. That's who we need. Yeah, man, those. Man, hell no. Polar opposite. Shut it down. We talked about getting them scissors out. Snip, snip. Cut your ass off. Period. You're a virus. Virus removal. Let me just yank your punk ass up out of here, man. I don't need poison in my life. I don't need support for the things that I'm doing wrong. I don't need somebody to sit there and be silent when I need somebody to bounce something idea off of in order to get some motivation behind myself. And you sit there silent? Nah, Jack. I need to program my ass up away from you. That's what I need to do. And we have to be bold in that sense. Let's try it. Let's do something different. Let's put ourselves in a different environment, try something else. Right? That's what makes life exciting. We get excited when we're on a new thing. We don't know if we're going to fail with this chicken, but every time we all get in and we all get excited. Recipes. I'm trying lemonades. Messing those up. This is nasty. This is trash. This didn't work. Still trying that experimentation. Saw that on these shows. All these cats experiment. Colonel Sanders trying different recipes. Trying hard, homie. We trying hard. Shout out to everybody who really putting their best foot forward and trying their ass off. Because the result is irrelevant. It's how you're trying, what you're putting forward. That's it. That's the only thing you should measure yourself. Man, am I trying harder than I did last year? Did I put some shit in action? Okay. Did I write my goals down? Am I checking these things off like a checklist? If not, am I chipping away at it? Because I just did a post. Every day you're not going to have that axe to knock these trees down called your dreams, right? You may have a water pick. You may have a pencil. But you can't stop chipping. You can't stop swinging. When things get hard, what's your program tell you? Right? Because you can program yourself. You can develop your own algorithms. When shit gets hard, what's your program say? Right? Because that's all programming is. They write a language and they say, well, when this happens, do this. So when shit gets hard, what happens to your program? Right? What does your program say? Retreat, shut down, it's hard, I quit. What does your program say? Man, please. That's what mine says. You think that's going to stop me? After that one, first it says, man, please. Then it says, if you think that's going to stop me, you got me twisted. Then the third program after those two says, watch out, homie. That's what my program says. What does yours say? And you need to ask yourself that question, right? Period. What is my program telling me? Because I can program this for every response that I'd like it to respond to. When I get down on myself, what does your program say? You ain't shit? Yeah, D, you man. Yeah, you probably ain't, man. Your tracker, you've been taking L's, dog. Is that what is that right? Nah. You down yourself, D, pick yourself up. D, hey, let me remind you who you are, killer. That's what you gotta start programming. Even if you gotta record it in your phone and play it back to yourself to program it in your head, so be it. But you gotta have that talk. That self-talk is the most important conversation you're gonna have, especially when it starts to talk down to you. Period. Especially when it starts to talk down to you. Hey man, oh man, I saw you feel. Oh, yeah, that was. And you got to think of every scenario where your mind could possibly be talking you out of some stuff. That's when you got to program it for the alternate. How do I respond to this? Stuff's going to get hard. Somebody comes at you sideways. Put your head down, keep your eyes on the prize. That's how mine is. Put your head down, keep your eyes on, especially in a professional setting. The enemy going to test you. When you're trying to get professional, it's going to be somebody comes in there with that sideball shit. Keep your head down. So you got to program yourself for certain responses. And if you don't, you can have a breakdown. The whole system can shut down. So it's important and imperative that you program yourself for success. Program yourself for certain responses and situations. Somebody step on your shoe. How are you programmed? In the past, serve them 3-piece with a biscuit. Well, there's assault charges now. You can't just beat up anybody on the street. Some people hit their heads and die. Now you have a murder charge. Albeit second-degree manslaughter, but you're still going to the pen because you 2-piece somebody and they fell on a fire hydrant and cracked their head and died. So what is your program for situations like that? Somebody steals from you. What's your program? Man, I'm about to go kill this kid. Okay, well, there's consequences for that. Somebody does this. What's your program? So it's important for us to program ourselves for all these situations that can come about, including success. You start winning. What's your program? Chill, party, man. Go get such and such. Go dig up the homie. Go dig him up, right? Just keep that in mind. Go dig up the homie. Bring him over here. Then he gun you down and rob you because you went and dug his ass up. So what's your programming? You got to ask yourself, what do I want? How do I want to respond? What is my end result? There's a lot of people in the pen right now that wasn't no punk. And I guarantee you, if they could reprogram that situation, they would. Man, proving I ain't a punk for 25 to life or 50 to life or whatever you're getting, nah. So you got to program yourself in order to see situations that may come on your journey. And you got to be okay with saying certain things in order for you to keep your eyes on the prize and win. This is a long marathon. This is not a sprint. So keep that in mind. So let me share you guys. I got a book on Audible. Let me pull this up real quick. Any questions I can answer? If there's any questions, those who are listening on the replay, make sure you guys put them in the chat. I'll try to answer them next week. But let me share this with you guys, as always. Now you guys know that I'm on my let me see, where is it at? On my food kick. So this book is so dope. It's about restaurants, but it's called Restaurants by the Numbers. And this the one that talked about Cheesecake Factory, and some of the other restaurants as well. But it's an amazing one, written by a CPA. And one of the things it talks about too, he goes against a lot of the myths about restaurants and how they fail, right? So it's really valuable for you if you want to really look at the numbers. It talks about menus, it talks about the whole nine. I got that other book, so with the combination of those two, I think we're going to have a really successful year. We're going to do a few pop-ups. We're doing a couple of things, but that's what I'm reading right now. I'm more importantly listening to. So I'm reading the other one and getting reinforced with this from a listening standpoint. I hope you guys are reading too, man. I'll give you guys suggestions every week. Every week, if I can. I want you guys to be reading more. That's what I will say in terms of advice. I can't force you to do anything. A lot of people don't read and they say, I'm not a reader. You turn into one when you get 5 or 6 years in the pen, you will. You'll be bored as shit. So my my whole thing is do it now. The best resources, best way for the universe to confirm your thoughts. A lot of times that stuff is in a book. That will conclude this week's weekly tap in. I certainly appreciate you guys. We couldn't do it without our sponsors. Cheryl's Famous Fried Chicken, medtoursla.com, and hairlivery.com. I want to appreciate everything, all the listeners. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe. If you're listening on podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscription and the notifications so you can be notified every week of a new episode. And have a wonderful, productive week. Make sure you guys read and make sure you update, man. Take God's update, update yourself. God bless. I'm tapping out.